Welcome back to Talking Lead. This is episode 85. Left Hand, we're back, man.
We are?
We are from Colorado.
I still haven't climatized to Tennessee's climate yet.
Did the pollen smack you in the face like a frying pan?
Something smacked me in the head like an anvil because I've had a headache the last 2 days, man.
Yeah, me too. I think it's the flood of oxygen where I all of a sudden have.
Is that what it is?
For a week and a half or a week, we were at what, a mile high, literally.
We were over a mile high, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were because you're like 9 feet tall.
Screw you.
You could touch the clouds.
I could. I was up there seeing how the weather was, right?
So we had a big week.
Yeah, we did. We went out to Colorado, flew into Denver first, and we got to do some stuff with Sonoran Desert Institute.
Iron Hammer
Armory. Watched him build a couple of AKs out there.
Watched him do some of his, build some axes. He's got a new one coming out called the Minuteman.
Yeah, that thing's awesome.
I accidentally broke my Rogers hatchet.
You on purpose accidentally did it. You didn't try to break it. You didn't try to break it, but you purposefully threw it, thinking it was a throwing axe.
Yeah, don't throw your Rogers hatchet because it will snap like a twig. But that's okay. I'm upgrading to the Minuteman.
Yeah. And then we helped them get ready for Circle the Wagons, went down to Colorado Springs to Dragon Man's Range, which is an awesome range. But we're going to have a video coming out next Tuesday. We're going to do a Google Hangout with some of the other YouTubers and bloggers and people that were there at the event, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that.
We Like Shooting was there.
Yep.
The guys from Rockwell Tactical were a big part in doing the training of the courses. Those guys were awesome. Jared and Hans.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool guys,
Yep.
yeah.
And then Robert with Keenaz. Then RB with Keenaz Tactical.
We'd like to thank the guys from SoCo
Custom
Kydex.
Yep.
Yeah. They hooked us up with a couple of holsters while we were there.
Yep.
I was lacking. I picked up a tactical vest from Jason while I was there, and I didn't really have a holster to go with it, so they hooked me up with a Glock 23 holster.
Yeah. And then I got the HK VP9. I got a holster made for it, outside the waistband, pancake.
Sweet shooting gun, I got to say. You know,
I almost fell out when you came back to me and you said you loved it.
I was surprised myself, man. I'm not an HK guy, and man, I liked it.
It was accurate as hell. The only thing that I had an issue with is because I got the longer thumbs, is getting the left thumb purchase on the tip of the gun.
You got a longer everything. What are you talking about?
Well, almost everything.
Yeah. Your pinky toe's a little abnormally small.
It is. But as far as accuracy and smooth, did you get that too? It was just it almost felt soft when you shot it.
Yeah, it was like you're shooting a Nerf gun.
Yeah. That's a good description of it.
The recoil was non-existent on that.
Yeah.
Like you like to say, very little recoil.
I don't ever say that in any videos.
But it really was. I mean, we were shooting, just free shooting that sucker, and I guess I put 2 mags through it, and I was shooting at the far left 7 target.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I completely blew it out, and I was putting bullets in the same hole. It was phenomenal. I guess what we were at, like 25 yards.
It was 10 or 15, I think. Well, it depends on where you stood too. Like when I was shooting, it was about 15 yards.
Okay. Yeah. Well, of course, when you reach, that takes about 10 yards off.
Yeah, that's why I was at 10 yards.
So 25 for us, 15 for you.
And we've got some special guests in the studio, which if Left Hand sounds a little weird, he is in his incognito man cave studio, whatever. It's got a fancy mirror in the background, though. But he's Skyping in.
I like to look at myself
in
the mirror.
But from the Orion's Kin TV show, we have got Adam and Brooks. How's it going, guys?
It's good. Awesome. Thanks for having us, guys.
Not a problem. We've passed you guys on the road because they've got their vehicles wrapped too. We passed you on the road. I looked it up. I'm like, oh, that's Orion's Kin. I was like, oh, it's a hunting show. I'm like, well, crap, we need to connect. We're like right here in Middle Tennessee. Why not? So we finally made it happen.
For a while there, I think we were stalking each other on Instagram. I think I'd see you guys and tag a picture of you and then back and forth. So
yeah.
Gotta love
Well,
social media.
there was a really weird Instagram message I think I got from you once that was like, I saw you in the Nashville Armory. I was like, what the hell is this?
It was meant to be a little creepy, all in good fun.
But y'all show is on Pursuit Channel, right?
Yep. So we'll be starting in July 2015. We'll be on Thursday nights at 7.
Okay.
So, like with media, I'm sure you guys are familiar with. Nothing happens immediately. They want everything in 15 months in advance.
Sure,
So we've paid the bills. We've got a good number of things filmed, and now we're just waiting for our time to come up.
Nice. Awesome.
Cool.
And did y'all do anything cool with guns this week? Firearms?
This week it's probably been more bows.
Yeah.
I shot
That works, too.
probably 200 out of my bow in the backyard. And what about you, Brooks?
Yeah, I got a new Bowtech. I've been
Uh-huh.
shooting it, and I've got a recurve. I like to shoot pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah, 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you hunt
that's-
with the recurve?
I have not killed anything with a recurve,
Uh-huh.
but
You've taken it.
hopefully that changes this year.
What do you have? Bowtech also?
Yeah, so we both shoot Bowtechs. I shoot an RPM 360. Brooks shoots an Insanity.
Okay. Nice bows.
Oh,
Yeah.
real nice.
See, I want to get into bow hunting, but
I feel
everything's
ya.
got to be custom.
I feel ya.
and it's kind of it's a pain.
Yeah.
But we talked to one company. I won't mention them because I don't know if y'all sponsored by Bowtech.
No.
Oh, okay. I talked to Matthews, and they said that if I go get fitted, that they'll send one so we could do some videos with. Hey, big guys can shoot arrows too.
Yeah, that's real cool. We were actually, it's funny you mentioned that. We were just talking with one of our local shops here in town, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how there's a big gap in the market right now with, really tall guys with massive jaw lengths. I mean, Brooks is
Yep.
a big guy, and for him to shoot anything, he's got to be completely maxed out on adjustments, and it's still not quite big enough. So
Yeah.
they're missing out for you big guys.
Oh
And
yeah,
I'm not as big as you are, so I mean it's
I got gorilla arms.
yeah.
Hey, I'm not only am I tall, but I also have my wingspan is longer than I am tall.
Yeah.
So it's freakish. I went to Bass Pro and tried to get fitted for one.
Yeah.
And the guy just looked at me like, "What the hell is this?" Which left hand usually looks at me and says that pretty much every time we do stuff together. So
That's all right. We will now too, just to kind of fit in with the group. So.
yeah.
Well, you can go the recurve route. You just pull it back till it feels good and let it go.
Well, it looks more badass too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like, hey, I got an old recurve bow.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen on the internet so if you read like old Spartan folklore and qualification, there's a stipulation where you have to shoot 3 arrows within a second. And so you read that, right? And you're like, that's crazy. Nobody can do that.
Yeah.
I actually saw this video on YouTube where there was a guy, I want to say he was in England, where he wanted to replicate that, and he actually shoots 5 arrows from a recurve. And the time it takes him to jump off from the top of a set of bleachers to hit the ground, and he hits balloons with every single one of them. It's crazy.
Wow.
So if you want to talk badass, I mean, that's something to aspire to.
Wow.
Yeah.
How? I mean, one at a time. This
He-
isn't
what-
like 5 lined up. Or
No,
anything.
he has them all set up in each one of his fingers, just kind of interwoven, and just I can't even
That's insane.
demonstrate the
Yeah.
motion. It's just crazy.
I probably couldn't even pull it back once in 1 second, much less 5 shots in 1 second.
And then be
I gotta
accurate on
look
top
that
of
up.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to look it up now. So now it's time for the jackwagon train.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the talking lead jackwagon of the week, so brace yourself, baby.
So this week, we may or may not, we're kind of trying to remember, but they're so freaking evil and sick and disgusting that they deserve to be on the jackwagon train more than once if we have thrown them on. And that's ISIS or ISIL or whatever the heck the government decides that they're going to be called this
The
this week.
Islamic State is whatever they are.
Yeah.
But here's my issue with these people is why are we just now hearing about them? Why is all this just now coming to light? Where have these guys been the past 20, 30 years?
Well, I would think it depends who you talk to there, right?
Yeah.
They've been around, and we've known they've been around. It's just who decides to acknowledge them and win.
Yep, exactly. And they've got a lot of money backing them. I think we talked about that. I think we have thrown them on because I remember talking about this. But like the production of their videos, we've talked to people that have been like, yeah, there's more money backing these guys than there were backing.
Yeah, but I
groups.
mean, is it just another branch of Al Qaeda that they're going and just kind of reinventing themselves? What's the deal?
No, I don't know. But some of the stuff they're doing is all the stuff they're doing is just freaking sick. It's disgusting. It's I don't even want to
inhumane.
talk about it. I say we just throw them on the jackwagon train, let people do what they want with it because it's just disgusting to even think about some of the videos. and the beheading children, and it's rough.
Yeah, but these guys they didn't just start doing this. That's my point.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't just start doing this a month ago. I mean, these guys have had to have been doing this for years and years. And for the coverage and, the exposure to just now be coming out, that's what I'm kind of baffled about.
Al-Qaeda kind of had the front of all the media coverage of it, and now they're kind of on the back burner. So they have to have ISIS up front with all this stuff. I
think one of the things that I've read is that, compared to Al-Qaeda, these guys make Al-Qaeda look like a friendly little puppy.
Oh, they do.
I mean, these guys are just way far past extreme.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you're Muslim, Christian, whatever. They're just grabbing people and killing them, shooting random people going down the road. And the crazy thing is since the last time we talked about it, they have had people taking pictures in front of the White House with the little flag saying, "We're already here. Get ready."
Well, they said that they're teaming up with the Colombian cartels to get across our borders. Something that I've heard. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They could have been here for years and years and years and infiltrated and assimilated and whatnot. But it's just baffling to me that we're just now hearing about this group and their actions. It just seems like they came up overnight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think we've known that they've been around and their actions have been what their actions have been and what they've been doing is just. I think it's just now coming to light, and for whatever reason, our government or the media wants to highlight it. Goes to that we were talking about when the shootings around America were going on, as it was a distraction. They used that as a distraction to springboard other things.
Yeah.
So we got to be on our toes, not to get so engulfed and emotional with what's going on with this, and watch what the other hand's doing.
I just hope it's not another one of those. Oh yeah, oops, we had Bin Laden in our crosshairs at one point, and we didn't pull the trigger. And oops, yeah, we had somebody the head of ISIS at one point and didn't pull the trigger, and then something crazy happens. Because like you said, they've already said they're threatening within 2 weeks there's going to be an attack on the U.S. soil. So
yeah.
And it kind of like what you mentioned. I mean, it doesn't have to be something big. It doesn't have to be another 9/11. I was reading an article, I think on Fox News, talking about how all it would take is 4 or 5 small attacks that happen all at the same time that could have as dramatic of an impact. And that's what those crazies need to push their agenda.
Well, they're all about coordinating their efforts for maximum devastation,
Yeah. I mean, just watching... I quit watching the videos because it had that effect. I felt devastated after I watched it. I felt rage, I felt anger, I felt sadness, and it was like, I'm not watching that shit anymore. I'm just not watching it anymore.
But that's the point I'm making. The media is putting so much attention on this that it is evoking strong emotions and reactions from Americans. And just like you said, it's rage and hate and, let's do something. Why are they doing that? Why are they wanting to get us so fired up? What's coming down the pike that they want Americans to get on board with? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's the definition of terrorism in itself. Terrorism is to increase terror in the mindset of a society.
Yeah, you're not listening to what I'm saying, though.
No, but you asked why are they doing it? It's because they want to increase terror.
I'm not talking about ISIS. I'm talking about the media and their coverage of it and pushing it cramming it down our throats.
It sells.
But it also evokes emotion and rage.
Yep.
It's almost like they're priming the pump, like they know something's going to happen and they just want everybody to be fired up for when it does.
Yep. No, that's true.
Well, same thing with the gun shootings. They just shoved that and crammed that down America's throats because they wanted to get gun regulations passed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. You just need to watch what the other hand's doing.
True.
Just like when they were pushing the assault weapons ban last year. We kept saying it on the show. Don't pay attention to it. Pay attention to it, but try to look at what else is going on. And sure enough, once that didn't get passed and it got voted out, look what got passed while we were all fighting for our gun rights. That NSA can look at our emails without a warrant. Oh, crap. So it's like, hey, look over here while we're doing this over here.
Yep.
And that's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah.
Yeah. I see what you're saying now.
Yeah. Without saying it, that's what I'm saying.
We love you, NSA. We know you listen.
But we're not happy about the golf course, just for the record. They tore down my favorite golf course, the oldest golf course in the Army.
What?
Fort Meade, 27 holes built in the 50s. They tore it down to build the data centers for what they're recording right now as I talk at the NSA. So, NSA, if you're listening, thanks for nothing. I miss my golf course.
Really?
Well, there's our jack wagons right there.
There you go. Welcome to the jack wagon train. Well, we have a few questions that we ask everybody that comes on the show. First one is, how did you originally get in firearms? Go for it, Brooks.
I was thinking about this, and I really, as long as I can remember, I've had guns. My grandfather, my father grew up. They would hunt. I would go with them. Sometimes, if I was too little to carry a shotgun rabbit hunting, I served as the dog some, and I would run in, and scare the rabbit out. And so, I mean, as long as I can remember, I've been shooting, and I was trying to think about the first time I ever shot a gun. And honestly, it's hard for me to remember the first time. It's kind of like the first time you walk. You don't remember that. But for me, it's, my entire life I've just been having a gun in my hand or a bow in my hand and been out in the woods running around, trying to bring home dinner.
Nice. What about you, Adam?
I mean, I'm kind of the same way as Brooks. I can't remember my life without having guns in it. I can't even tell you the first time I shot. My dad and my grandfather was just part of who we were growing up and part of how I was raised, whether it was out hunting or just target shooting. Before I could ever hunt, it was drilled in me from my grandfather and father that you've got to be a marksman first because you don't want whatever you're shooting at to suffer. Right. And then outside of that, it was sporting plays, skeet, trap, whatever. And it's been a part of who I am ever since I can remember.
I know Adam has some experience, military background. What about you, Brooks?
I have no military or law enforcement background. Mine has just been an old country boy out in the woods and running around running around my entire life, and so no official past history of that stuff.
Gotcha. What about you, Adam? Tell us about yours.
Yeah, so I did my time in the Army. I got to play in some great foreign lands under the global war on terror. Some of the best times of my life. Obviously learned to shoot all kinds of really cool things. Learned a lot about brotherhood and about responsibility. And actually some of the hardest lessons I learned about firearms came from when I was in the military. I had a lieutenant who shot and killed one of my best friends because he wasn't practicing weapon safety. So,
oh my God,
that kind of segued into when I got out. Some of my buddies and I, we formed a training company. It was when a lot of the law enforcement agencies and National Guard troops, it was really kind of basic, but firearms 101, and that really spurred my motivation to train safety above all else.
Now, tell me that guy got arrested and court-martialed.
He did. He got arrested and court-martialed. I testified at his trial. He was a first lieutenant, and he served 36 months less time served in Leavenworth.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So was it an accident or was it intentional?
Well, so the story there is, just to kind of give you a little bit of background there, maybe some context, myself as an E4, I was assigned to work with this lieutenant because he was kind of not... He was a great guy, and I don't want to take away from his person. Probably had no reason to be in a leadership position in the military. So I was kind of put with him to watch out for him and help make sure he was doing the right thing. And we were on a mission one day, and there was a car bombing, and he ended up staying back with to take care of the site and clean up. And I came back with the team. So one of my responsibilities was, as his driver, I cleared his weapon. Mm-hmm. And that day, I wasn't with him, so I didn't clear his weapon. And he was walking to our platoon brief that night, and my buddy Joe just asked him, "Hey, LT, is your weapon unloaded?" And he said, "Yeah." See, and he put the barrel of his M4 to the guy's jugular and pulled the trigger.
God.
And it wasn't unloaded. So,
dude,
muzzle awareness, weapon safety. Always treat it as if it's
murder.
Loaded.
That's murder.
Yeah,
that's a tough lesson right there.
Like I said, 36 months manslaughter.
Wow.
He got off light.
Yeah. When it comes to pop culture, wow, from that story to pop culture.
Hey, let's shift gears.
Wow. Okay.
That's tough, man. Yeah, that's a tough story.
Whether it's movies, TV shows, books, games, whatever, if it involves firearms, what's your go-to? What's your favorite?
As far as pop culture, I mean, I guess I'll give Eric at Soldier Systems a nod. I mean, I read his stuff constantly. As far as games, I mean, hey, you can't beat classic Duck Hunt on NES.
Yes! That's our first Duck Hunt. That's awesome. Especially if you find the one place on the screen where you can just point there and it kills everything. Yeah. What about you?
I mean, probably Duck Hunt's the only video game I've played.
Yeah.
Nintendo, I don't have anything past that, really. So that, and, as far as movies and stuff, man, go all the way back to, like, Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I mean, I can sit down and watch that any time of day.
Good movie.
And
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, just running through the woods, chasing deer down, and then putting a good shot on with the old musket. So
Heck yeah.
Nothing better than that.
That's awesome.
Man, I think Brooks and I are actually kind of old souls. All we do is read books about the Wild West, and man, we're not really good about pop culture and what's cool and trendy.
Hey, that counts. Books count.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, that's part of it. Absolutely. So what books are you into?
Well, the one I just finished up was Steve Rinella's Meat Eater. Just a great story about, talking about his upbringing in hunting and how he really values the kill and how he strives to use every single piece of it. And, I really think, there's, as the hunting market expands and it's becoming kind of the trendy, cool thing to do, I think it's really important that guys understand why they're doing what they're doing and why what they're doing is important. And really kind of steer away from that whole trophy hunting aspect. While we all want to get that big game kill, it's really about taking the animal responsibly, using the meat responsibly, and just giving thanks for what you were able to do and honor that animal appropriately.
Sure. You know who y'all remind me of, like your philosophy and your concepts and everything? Y'all pay attention to Cameron Haynes at all?
Yeah.
The fitness aspect and what you're hunting for, the philosophies are very, very similar. So, which, I mean, it's ours too. It's kind of the same way we think. But it's good to see more people are doing that out on the TV shows and everything, because a lot of those shows, it's all about the big trophy bucks. And they don't really say what it's really all about. So
that's something we really we strive to show as well. So, I mean, one thing you'll see with us is we don't necessarily show that big game kill every episode. I mean, because a big part of hunting is you're not successful every time.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean that there's not entertainment value. And
like my entire year last year.
Yeah, exactly. But you still had fun.
Yes, I did.
I don't have any interesting books. I have textbooks.
So, has there been, or is there maybe still a gun or a piece of gear, equipment that you've owned or that you currently own that you're maybe a little bit ashamed to say you or admit to owning?
Well, go ahead, Brooks.
I mean, personally, if the gun does its purpose, it works for me, and I'm not going to be ashamed of it. I mean, like, my wife, she's got a little 25. It's got a little, she calls it cute, and I really don't like that word, but she calls it, it's cute, and it has a, little pearl handle. But if somebody comes in my house and I'm not there, she knows how to use it, and it will serve the purpose. So for me, I'm not ashamed of anything that serves its purpose.
Okay.
Man, I think I've probably got a little more ego than Brooks. No, I've got two that I'm pretty ashamed of. So my first one that I ever purchased when I was 18 was a High Point 9mm rifle. And man,
wow, nice.
Dude, that thing had a handle-fed magazine, and what a piece. No disrespect. If High Point sponsors, I apologize, but man, that thing was a piece. And then so the second one for Valentine's.
I've shot those before, man. Those shoot really good. The carbines.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. No, so I guess in the second one this year for Valentine's Day, being I guess the meathead that I am, I bought my wife a pretty pink Ruger 357, and she looked at me straight in the eye and she said, "This clearly is not for me." So needless to say, that one sits in my nightstand next to my Beretta because she won't acknowledge a pink handgun. So
nice. What about any guns that you've had before that maybe you wish you had back? Like you sold it or traded it for rent or whatever?
I mean, honest, most of my guns have been handed down. I've been fortunate enough to, come from a long line of outdoorsmen and hunters. Mm-hmm. And so whether it be, I have a muzzleloader that my grandfather built from a kit. And, he hunted with it for a year and then he passed it down. He did that for all the grandkids. And so most of my guns I still have.
Sure.
And so none that, that I've actually given away or traded away.
Gotcha.
At least nothing yet that is, nothing bad has happened where I've had to get rid of any of those.
Okay.
No, I got to say, there's one that I definitely wish I had back. So when I was overseas, I carried an M16 Alpha 4, which was a squad-designated marksman rifle, free-floating barrel, chrome-lined. Real precise shooting platform for the M16.
Sure.
And when I got back, I rebuilt the rifle that I carried overseas. I mean, right down to every detail that I could buy commercially. Obviously, it didn't have 3-round burst, but I mean, everything that I could mimic, I did. But then Zeke, just like what you said, man, I mean, I was getting ready to move across country, and I needed some cash, and I let that thing go, and I let it go for a song, and I wish I had it back. I mean, I can obviously rebuild it, but that one had a lot of sentimental value and a lot of motion that went into the build.
Yeah.
And I mean, I miss it. I do.
Oh, wow. That stinks.
Yeah.
After that?
Yeah.
I'm squirreling over here. I'm going through your Facebook page.
Oh, gotcha.
Actually, I had a tank one time, and I traded it for some bubble gum.
Magic beans.
Yeah.
bucket list. What's your next gotta have, go to gun, kit, bow, whatever it is, knife?
Well, I've got one. I've got my eye on one. So I really want to build a Ruger M77 Hawkeye and a 300 Win Mag with the muzzle brake. But that's only part of it, right? So it's a really solid shooting platform. It's lightweight. It'll do all the damage I need it to.
Okay.
But I really want to have that really high quality Swarovski optic.
Oh,
I've never
wow.
been able to spend the cash on a $2,000 scope before.
Yeah,
not
it's
that I
hard
can't
to do,
now,
isn't it, man?
but the good thing right now is I can make it a business expense and semi-justify it to my wife. So, I mean, that's kind of my dream build right now, to build that rifle, build it right.
Just start calling Swarovski now and say, "Hey, we need a sponsor for optics. We got a show."
We did just put
Glass is
together.
the hardest thing for me to lay cash down on, man.
But it's, man, I'll tell you though, but once you do it and you have it, you're so glad you did.
Yeah.
We've been told numerous times that if you spend the money on nice optics, the rifle could be mediocre.
Absolutely. And you guys have been to SHOT Shows, so I mean,
Yep.
you can tell the difference just when you walk in the different booths, kind of
Oh,
how they
yeah.
present themselves. So if you go into, like the Loophole booth, it's very nice, and they take a lot of pride, and they build a very high quality optic.
Yep.
But then if you walk into the Swarovski booth, it's like you just stepped into a jewelry store.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel like you're in a jewelry store. They're all in suits. Yes, sir, may I help you? And it's just, it really speaks volumes to the quality of their optics.
But see, all we can afford is the Tasco booth.
Tasco,
We just hang out in Tasco.
low end Bushnell. Yeah, I got
Can I
you.
have that red dot for $25? Thank you.
Appreciate it.
What about you, Brooks?
I mean, I'm not that fancy, and honestly, if I had anything I could have, it would be old school. Flintlock. Just,
Oh, nice.
I mean, I have a picture.
All original, not rebuilt.
All original. Yeah. I mean, I have a picture of my great grandfather from like Civil War. He's holding a rifle in his hand.
Yeah.
If I could have that rifle, it'd be awesome to
That's
me.
cool.
It's like that's to me. I mean, with my muzzleloader, I said my granddad gave it to me, and so every year, if I only shoot one deer all year long, I'm gonna take that gun until I kill something with that muzzleloader, because that's all that matters to me. Is that is being able to get that one gun. So for me, it's old school, and so I would go with nothing in particular, just something original and old.
Nice. So, Orion's Kin. Who came up with the name? What's it from?
Well, I mean, I guess I can go into the story there. So, the whole idea of the show, so I used to work in the industry, and I was living in Baltimore, Maryland at the time, but obviously Baltimore is no place for a country boy, and I had to get out of the city. I loved the job. I loved the industry. I had to get out of the city. So when I moved back down here to Middle Tennessee, I think it was about a week before I realized how much I really missed the industry, and I got to thinking about, how can I be involved, but I want to make a difference. I don't want to just be involved. I want to, help the industry grow and become better.
Sure.
So when I was in the industry, I was working in the Miltac space. And a lot of the friends that I made in the industry, they were starting to starve a little bit. The global war on terror had wound down, and the contracts dried up through sequestration and everything else. So I was really trying to focus on them and, how can I drive these guys more business? What platform can I use to help them be better? And I started considering my background too, with the military, and then with, the more technological side of the tactical space. How can we make that cool?
Right.
And it just kind of dawned on me, everything I did in the military helped me hunt.
Sure.
All the survival tactics, the mountaineering tactics, all of that helped me be a better hunter. And I feel like if more guys saw that and were exposed to it, they could expand their hunt beyond just, the whitetail in their backyard or in their back 40 and really get out there and do something cool.
Yeah, there's never whitetail in this backyard.
Man, I don't know. I've seen some in the city down here, so we'll see. But so, I mean, that's how the basic concept came to be. And then, I really got focusing on, let's be honest. I was drinking beer with my buddy Eric, who is my former business partner. He's really into Greek mythology and, the Spartan warrior and that whole mindset.
Gotcha.
He was an old JSOC guy, and he's a Border Patrol agent now, so he's still in the mix. He just came up with, we're sitting there looking at the stars, and he said, well, what about Orion? That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then thinking of the Southern culture that we're in, right? We all have our kinfolk.
Yeah.
So it just came to be. I mean, as hunters, we're all kin to Orion, the great huntsman. So that's kind of how, I guess, the name came to be. And then it just kind of grew from there. I made a lot of calls and really started to storyboard out what I wanted the show to look like. Mm-hmm. And I ran into our camera guy, Trevor George. So Trevor's kind of background, he's a videographer, and he's been doing it since he was 5.
Okay.
He's fantastic with the camera, and where he's really found his niche is in wedding videography. So if you know anything about wedding videos, it's all about the details. It's all about capturing the details of the dress or whatever else.
Sure.
So how that translates to us is, you know, he's got a very unique eye on what we do because he captures the details that nobody else sees. And, you know, I'm going to put this out there for his brother Brian. So Trevor grew up in middle of nowhere, Mississippi, a country boy, and his dad and his brothers and everybody hunt. I mean, they're real redneck outdoorsmen,
right?
And Trevor's not. So, while we sit there and Brooks and I get excited about an elk or a big deer or a hog or whatever we might be seeing, Trevor doesn't see it at all. He's so focused on getting the details that the video quality that we have is just I couldn't be more proud of it.
That's
and
interesting.
it's because of his eye.
Yeah.
And then Brooks came in. Actually, I met Brooks at ATA this year, and we talked for about 5 minutes, and it just made sense.
Gotcha.
And these guys, I mean, I've known Brooks and Trevor now for about a year, and I mean, I feel like they're brothers. I mean, they're some of my closest friends, and I couldn't be more blessed with the team that I put together.
Well, that's good, too, because the hunting show industry, I guess you'd say, it needs an injection of some different stuff. There's only so much of a guy in a deer stand going, here it comes.
Yep.
For 30 minutes that I can freaking take. I love it, but it's like, give me something else.
Yeah, and you're right,
show me
man.
something else.
They're all the same. They're all the same.
Yeah.
So our basic concept is in every episode, so we're going to have a pursuit, you know, whether we're out there chasing, you know, hogs or alligators or deer or elk or whatever. But every episode, it's going to be as much about the journey as it is the kill. And not every episode is going to end in a kill because that's the reality of hunting.
Right.
But every episode, we're going to talk about a military tactic, something classic that'll help you in the backcountry, whether it's land navigation or survival, whatever it might be.
Sure.
And then we'll also have a modern military technology. So one of the cool toys that I just bought as a business expense is a drone. One of those really
Nice.
cool DJI drones, man, that thing's awesome. But kind of flipping that to where it makes sense from a conservation standpoint, you know, we all know the governments are pressed for cash right now.
Right.
And if you think of like the Colorado Department of Natural Resources, they'll send 5 guys to the field for a month to monitor elk herds.
Yeah.
And when you start talking about overtime and how much that actually costs in manpower and actual dollars, I mean, it's hard to do.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. So on the flip side, if these guys can take a small drone and in an afternoon monitor, like track a herd and get its size and its health,
Sure.
and then go home,
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. That's a ton of money they can use to invest in other areas of conservation. Those agents can be freed up to do more valuable work than just hang it out there. So, I mean, those are the kind of things we're trying to bring to the market.
It's good, too, because people like you and then our friends Reaper Outdoors over on Sportsman's Channel, that's kind of what they're doing, too. Not the exact same thing, but theirs is like, you see all the survival shows like Dual Survival and Naked and Afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't do that. but they go out and it's a survival show. They get dropped in wherever they're going to be. They have to get to their hunting site. They have to survive on the food they kill. And there's a hunting show within all that, too.
Yeah.
So it's different. And it's like what you're saying. Y'all are doing something different. It's not your typical sitting in a tree stand for 30 minutes.
Absolutely. And that's the big thing. I mean, like I said, the big thing that I want to do is make a difference with the show. And to do that, we've got to be different. So I guess kind of the 2 remaining pillars of that, as we talk about and we see the government and how things go and they're a little more liberal every month and, you know, people are having a little less of an appetite for hunting every month, every election cycle. You know, we need to attract as many people who are on the fence right now about hunting to the good side before we start losing those public hunting lands. So, you know, we're trying to appeal to those guys who are out there doing CrossFit right now, who are out there doing mud runs and the gals and, you know, really try and show them that, you know, hunting isn't just sitting in a tree stand. It's athletic. It takes a lot of preparation. It's an adventure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big goal of it, too. I'd say the 4th pillar, I mean, Brooks is most qualified for. So, Brooks, he doesn't like to talk about himself, but I do. Brooks is probably the most redneck backcountry doctor you've ever met in your life. He's a real brilliant and talented physical therapist, and I'll let him jump in here to the 4th pillar that's kind of his passion.
So that'd be the fitness aspect. And for me, my background is like I grew up, you know, hunting and fishing and went to physical therapy school, came out. I've been a physical therapist for many years now and have served as a strength coach, performance coach, colleges, Olympic professional athletes across the board. And my wife and I, we moved back here to Nashville and just kind of settled down. I was like, it's more important to me to be out in the woods running around than training an Olympic athlete.
Especially when you're from the hole in the wall.
Exactly. When you're from Holwald, it's like, hey, you know, it's more important for me to spend a little time there hunting and fishing than it really is to be in another country training some Olympic athletes for half a year. With the show, we can promote that health and fitness aspect. We can show somebody, hey, you know, it takes from going to the couch to running a marathon. Be a long way.
Sure.
But if you're going from the couch, you can do a few little things that'll get you where maybe you can spend more time in the woods, or you'll be healthier so you can spend more time with your kids in the woods. Or, you know, like you know, I think we talked about like having your grandfather show you some of those things,
Right.
and having your father around to show you some stuff that nowadays it's hard for some parents to get out and show their kids, so they rely on their grandparents to show them, hey, how do you hunt and fish?
Yeah.
And the grandparent has heart disease. It's difficult for them. So for me, it's really important to show people that you can get fit without doing all this crazy stuff, without having to almost break yourself in half. But we can also get those guys that want to do the crazy exercise.
Yeah.
They're all into the paleo.
Yeah.
Well, don't get any more paleo than actually going out,
Killing your own food.
killing it yourself,
Yeah.
drag it home and dress it. I mean, like you hunt it, you kill it, you eat it,
Yep.
you cook it yourself, everything. So you know where it's been. You go into Whole Foods. I got an argument with my buddy. He went to Whole Foods and got chicken.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting on the couch eating deer and tomatoes
Yeah.
from the garden.
Yeah.
Like deer that I killed and tomatoes from the garden. And he got chicken, and he's like preaching to me about how paleo he is. And I'm like, dude, you get chicken from Whole Foods. I'm like I
He
said,
didn't wring the neck, did he?
yeah, like I sat in the cold. I killed this. I
Yeah.
cleaned it. I cooked it. I ate it.
Carried it out.
Yeah, I'm like, do you want to get caveman? Like that's we can argue about this all day, but for me, that's really my passion is the fitness and the exercise and the health, about spreading the news of health and wellness to people that want to get outside and be healthy outside and hunt.
Well, and there's something else to that besides the paleo aspect and everything. And all of us here have killed our own food before. There's something like deep and almost spiritual is the only way you can describe it about killing your own food and eating it,
Taking a life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I mean,
mean,
you-
there's something special about that.
And I always think I mean, we're on Talking Lead where we talk guns,
Right.
day in, day out. And for me, growing up, like I said, from from as long as I can remember, there's been guns around.
Yeah.
I would get angry if I didn't get to go hunt with my family, like
Yeah.
mom, dad and grandfather, they're going hunting. Well, I'm 4, like
Sure.
I'm going to be twitching. They're not going to see anything if I'm in the woods, but I wanted to go anyway. And for me, like I always knew, a gun, you pull the trigger, something falls dead.
Yeah.
And some of these guys that they've grown up just playing video games. You hit the button, somebody falls down. Well, they pop back up and you play again.
Right.
And they don't have that real life experience of what does that gun actually do. And I think that's something that like a lot of people miss about the whole getting out and finding it, killing it yourself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Zeke, I think you hit on something really important there. And I was actually just having this conversation with my wife the other day. She's not a hunter. I mean, she'll eat what I bring home. She doesn't want to see its face. But, you're dead
You
right.
don't
though.
walk in with the head going, "Hey, honey."
No, man, if she sees it, she's not eating it. And there's a lot of meat in the freezer. So,
Yeah.
But you're right. It is a spiritual thing. And, people have the mindset that hunters are barbaric and they're all this. And, I mean, I don't care who you are.
Right.
You're going to feel something when you take a life.
Yeah.
For me, when I take an elk or a deer,
Yep.
I mean, that's a beautiful animal, and I
Yep.
love them, and I want to conserve them and do what's best for them. And I feel a little bit bad every time I take a life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll go up there, and one of the things I always do is like to put my nose in their neck and smell it.
Yeah.
What did this animal smell like? I want to get to know it.
Sure.
But then throughout the rest of it, every time I eat that animal, I think of the animal and I think of that day, and I'm thankful that animal was there and gave its life so that my family and I could eat and be healthy.
Well, we've got a close friend of the show. She's been on the show 3 times, Nicole,
Yeah.
and
a
she
couple other things with us, yeah.
Yeah, she's done hunting TV shows. She was just on one recently on NBC Sports. She does the Deer and Deer Hunter magazine, and she still to this day cries every time she gets a deer. And who knows how many hundreds she's gotten. And she said it's just something that happens every single time.
It's a very emotional experience.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like God provides it. It's like it's here.
Yeah.
Thank you for this blessing,
Yeah.
and I'm going to take it home and
Yeah.
you treasure it. I think it's more of you can go to the store and get a hamburger, and
Yeah.
you don't think about it. And for me, the health aspect, mindful eating,
Right.
Like what's the secret to
Yeah, I suck
eating
at
health?
that.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're mindful of what you're eating, you're like, all right, this animal came from this, and this is where it's from, and this
Yeah.
is what it's doing, and this is how it lived healthy.
Sure.
And so. For me, it all comes back to that mindful eating again. So it's
Well,
just,
I think the difference is, they say the eyes is the window to the soul,
yeah,
and you're looking at that game, that animal in the eyes when you go to claim it. So I think that has a lot to do with it too.
very true.
No, you're absolutely right. And a lot of people that sit there, there's a lot of hypocrites out there that'll criticize hunting while they eat their steak or hamburger.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like I tell them all the time, you're just a contract killer. You didn't have the balls to go out there and do this yourself.
Yeah.
You just paid somebody else to do it in a commercial setting.
That's right, contract
Exactly.
killer.
And the animal suffered not just the way it was slaughtered, but their entire life, because they're pinned up with thousands of other cattle in this
got it.
itty bitty 1 acre area.
Can barely move.
Yeah, it's just mass production is what it is.
Drive by a factory farm, and that'll cure them pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to go out there, you shoot an elk who's had 3 or 4 years to be an elk and
Yep.
do elk things, and
Yep.
I mean that's in my mind that's much more humane.
Well, and,
But you-
go ahead.
At the same time, I'm very thankful for Hardee's.
Oh come on, man, that's not real meat.
Damn handy today because I didn't have time to go out and hunt a deer down. So.
Touch on that a little bit. With conservation, that's what a lot of people don't understand about hunting. How is hunting conversation? Yeah,
It's a great conversation.
yeah. How is hunting?
Conservation conversation.
How is hunting conservation? And what a lot of people don't realize that if we didn't do it, especially in Tennessee, there's 900,000 accidents caused by deer every year in Tennessee. And if we didn't do that, one, the accident level, but two, they starve each other out.
Yep.
If we just let them run wild like rats, they would starve each other out.
Did you just say 900,000?
I think so. It's up there.
I wouldn't
gonna
say
Google that.
That's kind of high.
Or no, wait, that's the population of deer.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
deer
That's a little
population.
high.
Yeah, my bad.
That's a lot of accidents.
That's the population of deer. If we had that many accidents, we wouldn't have any deer left in Tennessee.
Here, I'll Google and get you some stats.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep talking.
Yeah.
We
So-
a few years ago we went from you could kill like a doe a day, or there was like a couple does a year and then a doe a day, and now you can kill a doe or two a day.
Sure.
And part of the reason is the insurance company is like, hey, the deer costs us a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
And and for us, we're conservationists, we can go out and we can thin down the herds a little bit so that they have more room, they have their more natural space that they need to breed, to live that healthy life instead of being all squared up. And then a disease comes in and they're all on top of each other. It's just like the Black Plague back in the day, and like you're on top of each other, everybody's going to get it. If you're more spread out, one or two get it, they fall by the wayside. The rest are healthy and fine and continue on.
That's why I think we should take all the PETA members and get like 1,000-acre farm, build them all houses, and then build this giant 300-foot fence, and then just throw a few deer in there. And then let them live there for about 6-7 years. They'll be begging for us to come in there within 6 years. Be like, take them all.
Man, did y'all see that county? I think is in New York State. I mean, New York of all places, right? Where they had built a new community, and they couldn't bear the thought of So long story short, the deer overpopulated the community. So like you were saying, you don't see deer in your backyard. Like they would have 5 deer in their backyard, in every backyard.
Holy cow!
But as opposed to opening the neighborhood up to bow hunting,
Right.
They opted to pay tens of thousands of dollars to have people come in and tranquilize the deer and
What?
move them out to other places because that was humane.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I mean, that just goes to show. I mean, just the disconnect in reality, right?
And what they don't realize is when they take that deer out to an overpopulated area, that little sweet little cuddly deer is going to starve to death because the other deer are going to say, "Screw you! You don't get to eat anything."
Man, I can't think of a much worse way to go. I mean, starving to death, burning. I mean, they're both right up there, man. That's horrible.
Put a bullet through my heart.
There you go. Make it quick and painless.
Yeah.
You talk about conservation, like every time we pay a license, we buy our license, part of that money goes back to the conservation. And like you said, if we don't do it, nobody's going to.
Yeah, and that's one thing that makes me sick about the people that are anti-hunting is they try to act like they're big conservationists, and like you said, they're probably sitting there eating a steak in their fancy little HOA home. Fucking HOAs. Yeah.
Hey, did you bring in your trash can, Zeke? I think I saw your trash can out front. I want to grab that.
Oh, yeah, if I don't bring it in, somebody will knock on the damn door by the end of the day.
So you're right about 900,000
Population.
deer. Yeah, but they don't really give stats on how many accidents, but they do cause an average of $3,000 per accident.
Oh, see, that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
For that
And of course,
insurance
there are
coverage.
deaths and fatalities that's the same thing, right? Deaths and fatalities.
Yeah.
What is it when it's the same
Simile.
thing?
Simile.
A synonym.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
Onomatopoeia.
Hey, did you guys see the video floating around the internet yesterday of a young buck? He looked like he was maybe one in a community, and this young girl, probably 15 years old, tried to go up and pet it, and the rest, the next 3 minutes of the video, are the buck chasing this girl trying to mount her.
Yeah.
So that's what happens when you have too many deer in your community. Right there.
Well, and then the one where the deer like attacked the dog
Yeah,
and almost killed it. That was pretty wild too.
absolutely.
And people, oh, it's so cute. Yeah,
It's 150 pounds of muscle.
it's a giant rat with horns.
They taste
And
better than
they're,
a
and
tasty
they're
rat.
nervous.
Yeah, exactly. So now it's time for facts to fight the myths. Go for it, man. What's this week's myth?
All right, so the myth that you have a lot in the hunting community is if you kill an animal and you have to cart it out in multiple loads, especially like in Alaska or Colorado, there's no way to keep the bears away. Well, there's a good way. We've done it. We've tried it. So the easiest way is the first thing you do is you put your jacket over top of what you killed so it has your smell.
Okay.
And then if you go and you just take a leak around the perimeter of your carcass, there's a pretty good chance those bears aren't going to come across it. They don't want to cross your scent.
So y'all have tried it and it worked.
I mean, I haven't lost any game to bears, so
So is there something you can eat that gets in your system, like garlic?
Asparagus.
Asparagus.
I would think garlic and asparagus, man, that'll keep
bears
anything
don't
away.
like? Yeah.
Asparagus will knock anything out. Shoot, I won't cross it if it's got asparagus smell. Asparagus piss is
It's like
nasty.
2 minutes. It does take 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, it's like
instant.
quick. You eat it and then you go to the bathroom and it's like, whoa, what the hell?
Garlic's
is that?
quick too. So if you combine garlic and asparagus, then hey, there you go.
Another thing, it is not a myth that you got to be in good shape if you go hunting up in the mountain somewhere. Because Left-Hand and I experienced that real quick last week.
Yeah.
We just walked
good
across
Lord.
the dude's house and we were like thinking we're gonna have a heart attack.
Yeah, man, elevation's no joke.
Yeah, and you always talk about I want to go on an elk hunt. That's like a bucket list hunt for me.
You got elevation sickness, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I had the beginning symptoms of it. My ankles were swelling like I was a diabetic or
cankles.
something. Yeah, they were huge. I mean, I don't have fat ankles. I mean, they're fairly thin for a big guy. And they were, I looked like a pregnant woman. And so I was like, what the heck is this? Ankle swelling at elevation. They were like, that's one of the first symptoms of elevation sickness. I was like, oh, crap.
Because your body's not getting the oxygen you
Yeah.
need. The air's thinner.
Yeah.
And you can't breathe as deep. You're not the oxygen is not there for your body to take in.
Oh, yeah.
So your blood can't take it. And that's one reason, here in Tennessee, we don't have the elevation. So, I mean, you really have to work hard and be in shape if you're going to head out there. I mean, I worked out in Colorado for a summer, and we had numerous guys came to the ranch, and it's like they'd show up, and 3 days later they were back on a bus to Kansas because they were sick for 3 days. Like, dude, you got to get out of here. You can't hang.
Yeah.
And so going out there, we do a lot of different techniques. Like elevation, we have training masks.
Yeah.
Makes you feel like you're up to 10,000.
You're breathing
feet.
through a straw is what it is.
I mean, you're just and then but do that while working out.
Sure.
I mean, your ticker's going and you're breathing hard and heavy, but you're getting no air in. But when then you get out there,
It's not as bad.
you're used to it, and that's why I like a lot of the Tour de France guys. They go to Colorado and train before they go climb the mountains in France.
Yeah.
I think
Makes sense.
Zeke, I think Brooks is inviting you on an elk hunt if you train with him first.
Yeah, I'll do it. If that's true, I'm in.
Hey man, get your tags and let's do it next year.
Yeah, where do I go to? I mean, where has the most easy to get tags?
Man, if you can buy an elk tag in Colorado over the counter if you want a cow archery tag.
Yep.
Or rifle. Let's do it this year, man. Let's make it happen.
Left hand, you ready?
Hell, I'm in.
I want to hear
Goes
that.
without
I want to hear
saying.
that bugle.
Oh.
If I can just be out there in the woods and hear that, I'm gonna be like,
Dude, it's bone chilling and probably
I've heard.
The only thing that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up more than that, and that's a good sound. The minarets in Iraq, man.
Oh,
It's a similar feeling, but completely different.
yeah,
Awesome and scary.
yeah.
Very similar.
At least with the elk, you want it to come near you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there was a certain time where I was ready for those guys to come too, but that's a whole other
Yeah,
story.
Yeah.
And, a lot of places you do have to put in, for your tags, and like there's a place like Kentucky,
Right.
and it's $10 to put your name in the hat.
Yeah.
And your chances of getting it are not very good.
Right.
But then again, that $10 goes to conservation. So
Sure.
like we go back to, but so like I said, Colorado, you can get one over the counter. Other
Yeah.
places you have to put in,
Right.
and sometimes it takes 10 years because you have to earn the points. But
Yep.
you're getting there, and every bit of all the money goes in goes right back to conservation and making sure
Well,
those
even-
elk will be there 10 years from now, so
Yeah.
you can hunt them.
Well, even now in Tennessee, there's 2 tags they give out?
I think 4.
4
Yeah.
now.
I think one is a youth hunt.
Yeah.
two are draws, and then one is on eBay, which
Yeah.
goes for, $4 or $5 grand
Yeah.
or something every year.
There's some big elk being grown in Tennessee too.
Yeah, up in on the Cumberland Plateau.
Yeah.
yeah. Which I think is when I first realized y'all were in Middle Tennessee, because y'all did a hunt on the wild boar, the Russian boar. Or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think you posted on Instagram. I was like, wait a minute, that's like an hour from
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that's cool. I've always wanted to go to that place and hunt up there.
Yeah, but it's real cool. The owner's a real good guy. They've been doing it for years, and you've got your choice. I mean, we're not big proponents of high fence hunting,
Right.
So he's got, I think, 6,000 acres up there, and maybe 1,000, if not a little less, is
Yeah.
fenced, and the rest of it is some of the hardest boar hunting terrain you've ever been on in
Really?
your life. I mean, over
Wow.
2 days, we probably hiked 10 or 15,000 foot in elevation, just going up and down.
Yeah.
The
And
hills
this
and
is
hollers.
and this is not like the Texas hog hunts. This is like wild Russian boar. They
Yeah,
brought Russian
yeah.
boar over here, and
Well-
these are the nasty big old.
Yeah, man. And so
bosses.
the story goes, I guess there was some wealthy guy that lived out there at one point, and when he passed away, there was no money to keep his hogs anymore, so they just let him go. And this part of Tennessee, man, I mean, you're talking, 300, 400, 500 pound, really
yeah.
big, pissed off pigs.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
would not want to be hiking and running in one of those.
And
suckers.
every sow, she can have 8 piglets running
Yeah.
around. So you think about do that a couple times?
Yeah.
and they can do that when they're 6 months old.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's
So
why
every,
Texas is where they're
Yeah.
at now with it.
every 6 months you multiply by 8.
Jeez.
I mean, I'll
That's
tell you,
just one pig.
Yeah.
there's a danger aspect to it too, because I don't care. Well, there's some things you can use to shoot a hog where it'll drop in its tracks, but for the most part, if you hit it, it's going to charge you. I mean, it'll try and gore you before it dies. It's a thrill.
Yeah.
And then if you get in a hole, I mean, there's a whole mess of them. Say there's 30 or 40 in the field, and you can shoot, and they just scurry. You don't know where they're going. I mean,
Yeah.
you got 15 running your way.
You might want to have a tree.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the
just outrun Trevor.
the African.
or a jetpack.
There you go.
It's kind of like the African hunts, the Cape Buffalo,
Yeah.
where they say the first time you shoot it, it's not going down, and it's coming for you, and that's why there's 2 guys with 500 magnums,
Yep.
ready for him.
Yeah, and the difference is I think I could evade a pig or at least hold him off, but a Cape Buffalo, man,
Shoot.
you're done before you even start.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, I saw one guy. He told me Cape Butler. He threw a spear at one. You saw it? Like he went up to throw a spear and he hit it,
Yeah.
but didn't kill it. And that joker, I mean, he was within 10 yards of it.
Yeah.
Joker just ran straight at him, and he just pulled the pistol out and unloaded, and the thing fell right at his feet. I was like he said, he trained that way. He would throw, and then just automatically just start shooting.
Now, see, here's the crazy thing. I would rather do that than the hunt that the Reaper guys want us to go on, because
I don't want to go on a snake hunt.
they want us to go down to Florida with them to the Everglades and hunt boas and pythons. And I'm like,
Man, y'all can
snakes,
have
dude?
that.
No, shit.
I'll check out on that.
I mean, those jokers 20 feet long.
I mean, we'll still do it. We love those guys, but
They just want to laugh at me when I'm in the belly of one of them.
Yeah, almighty.
they want to laugh at me running a 3-minute mile.
comes and cuts me out and is laughing at me.
man, I'll tell you, those boys can have that. I have no interest in chasing snakes in South Florida.
No, sir.
That's crazy.
I'll pass.
Hell no. So tell us a little bit about your show, what we can expect. Can you go ahead and talk about it now? No, it's not out yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we're excited to talk about it. We gave you guys a general premise and kind of what our goals are for it, but I mean, we really want to just get out there and deliver something different to the market and just make people excited. And I mean, Brooks and I, for some reason, we just have this stupid whip between us, and we spend 90% of the time making fun of our camera guy. And when he edits it, it comes across really funny. So, there's the serious aspects of fitness and conservation, of course, that kill, but we mix in a lot of good humor and that really cool cinematography too. I mean, we're really proud of it. So this year we've got a 13 episode plan, so we'll have 26 total. You won't have to see my face more than. Well, I guess you're going to see it 26 times. So we won't have to see each episode more than once. And we've got some really good partners on the way, a few things that we'll announce in the weeks to come, but there's some really cool things happening. We're really proud to be a part of where the industry is going right now.
Nice. What's the coolest hunt y'all went on? You don't have to tell us what happened, just what's the coolest hunt y'all went on
Well,
Give us some just
Ever or
highlights.
together?
with this show?
So I would say we just did a bow fishing trip, which we consider cross training, and none of us had done it before, and that was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't seen an alligator gar, I mean, you're talking like a 6-foot fish that's 3 feet of teeth.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. But I mean, I'm so looking forward to this Arizona hunt we have coming up. So like Brooks was mentioning about points of getting elk tags. Being a wounded veteran, I've got access to an installation in northern Arizona called Camp Navajo, which is a pretty unique place. So it's actually a START nuclear missile base.
Oh, cool.
So the only thing they do there now
Sweet.
is take apart nukes.
Nice.
So we're going to go up there and hunt elk among the nukes. I mean, with the way their draw works, I'm lucky enough to get one every year.
Do the elk have like 5 ears? And
Dude, I'm hoping for a massive radioactive elk. I might be a little reluctant
Is there
to eat
a
it,
bunker there?
Dude, there are bunkers everywhere at that place. It's a
Wow.
crazy installation. But that's going to be 10 days it just of primitive camping and hiking and bedding down with the elk and just, really doing it the way that, like the Daniel Boones would have done it, man. It's
Sure.
I'm just, we've done a lot of cool things, but I can't get that hunt out of my head.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked for it.
nice. What about you?
I mean, that bow fishing was pretty. I mean, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was not necessarily the toughest or the hardest, but
Right.
it was fun because it's kind of like fishing catfish. I mean, you can sit there and talk to your buddies and hang out, but you get to actually shoot a bow
Right.
at some trash fish. Most people wouldn't, use them for anything, and they're just taking up space and eating the babies of bass and brim and catfish. That one, and like I said, the hog hunt was a lot of fun, mainly because like our cameraman Trevor, seeing him for the first time actually in the in the woods and
Hiking
doing stuff,
around.
and like just climbing up and down the mountains, and I mean it was fun. If nothing else, to see him and just to kind of get him acclimated to this is what a little small piece of what's to come.
This is what you signed on for. And so that first hunt, I mean, we'll make fun of him. It's easy because he's not here. But
Yeah.
I kind of equated to the first time you take your 5-year-old hunting. He was just lagging back, kicking rocks, being loud.
Yeah.
Gosh, are we done yet? And I think at one point he actually said, man, I thought we were going to be out here for 15 minutes to get a pig and go home.
Yeah.
So we've broken with that. But I think, we've done a lot of cool things and we're going to do a lot of cool things. I guess those ones stand out just because they were so memorable for us. I mean, like Brooks said, typically, hunting's stressful as it is because you're not always guaranteed to get something. And then when you go out there and you have the added pressure of, well, we need to do everything we can to get something because it's on film and we've spent a ton of money to be here and we've got obligations to the network and our partners.
Right.
It's a lot of hard work, and people look at us and they're like, "Oh, you guys hunt for a living? That's cool." So, I mean, first of all, we don't make money at this. We do it because we're passionate about it. We want to help the industry be better.
Yeah.
No, there's only about 2 couples that make money in the industry, and man, we don't have the legs of Tiffany Lukowski. So, but at any rate, I mean,
Dye your hair blonde.
yeah, man. For us, it's it's really about passion. I mean, it's people don't realize all the work that goes into it. I mean, and honestly, the hunting is the easier part. I mean, there's a lot of stress when you're in the field to try and get something, but going out there and representing your partners 24/7 and putting the time in to sell advertising when the market's so flooded with TV shows, to go out there and really position yourself as something different. I mean, it's a challenge and it's stressful, and especially when you consider all the work and hours you put in, and we're doing it just to break even. But I mean, for us, it's about passion.
a good point too. What do you do when you go on a hunt or a shoot and it's a bust?
I mean, that's just the reality of it. Yeah.
I mean, and that's one thing about Trevor is
I could have done a whole season on that last
Yeah, right.
and that's one of the things about Trevor is, Trevor, he's not like your typical hunting guy. He doesn't sit around and watch hunting shows all the time.
Yeah.
He does video work. And so we go out and we come home with nothing. You will see us go out and you'll see the hard work, because for him, this is his first time really getting out there and going after an elk. He's going to know really how hard it is. So it's not like he's having to put on. So he actually gets to portray how hard it is. And then on top of that, we don't come home with anything. He's just as disappointed as we are, because he wants to be able to bring something home and a success. But he'll turn it into a great episode because of this is what he does. It's like I can use this, I can use that, and we just tell the story of like, hey, you know what? We went out and we didn't kill anything.
We worked our tails off.
Yeah, I mean, we crawled, we went through mud, we hiked, and we saw one, but it was, if we got a bow and we see an elk 100 yards away, I'm not going to take that shot.
Yeah.
I'm not, the conservation aspect. I'm not going to, possibly wound it for a chance that I might
get a big buck.
Yeah, I'm going to let it go and hopefully get one closer. So I mean, and with Trevor not being here, that's, he probably wouldn't tell you anyway, but that's what he does. He would turn it into a great episode because you will see all the hard work we put in and the true aspect of it.
And for us, it's really important to show that because, a lot of these other shows that are out there, every single episode, you're going to see some trophy animal fall.
Yeah.
And for someone that's new to it or that's interested in hunting, they're going to have the expectation that every time they go out, that's going to happen. And, with the attention span of most people, I mean, they're going to try it maybe twice, and when they're not successful, they're going to hang it up.
Yeah.
But we want to show is, something that, it's a lot of work, but just because you come home empty-handed doesn't mean you didn't have an awesome time.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't mean you didn't learn something, and doesn't mean you can't go out again and be successful. And we think it's really important to show that.
Yeah, I agree. So what's next for you? Like, what's the next trip?
Oh, man.
Or next event, or what's going on with the Ryan's Camp?
Our
next?
calendar, starting from...
Now?
Yeah, now until January, we're not going to be home. So we've got a Colorado trip coming up. We've got a few things we're doing here in Tennessee. We've got some Wisconsin trips, Arizona, Maryland. We're going to do some waterfowl hunting out there.
Nice.
Gosh, Brooks, I don't think we're home again from 2 weeks from now until January.
I'm kicking myself because we came back on Labor Day, which was the opening of dove season.
Yeah.
And I missed it.
It was a blast.
And you can't go after that.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Yeah.
You may get one in a weekend.
A few morning hunts out on a weekend or something,
Yeah, and I was just like, on the flight, I was like, oh, that was today.
Yeah.
That's all right. You still
saw a
got
bunch of dove while we were down there in
Oh, a
Colorado.
ton. They were huge,
yeah.
too. They were like freaking turkeys.
They could barely keep themselves in flight.
Yeah, it was insane. I just kept looking at them going, I'm not going to be there.
Yeah.
And y'all need to test your skill. I think Tennessee allows squirrel hunting with handguns, man. Go out there.
Yeah.
Go out there. Some 22,
Really?
Yeah, take
I
your
didn't
22
know
pistol out there and pling some squirrels. They're good eating.
I didn't know that. Well, HOAs.
Hey,
Don't get me.
Okay, air gun.
You can shoot a bow and arrow. That's why you need archery.
Yes.
Archery. Because in the evenings, if you shoot one, it runs your neighbor's backyard.
No.
You can go over there and drag it out in the dark. It's fine.
Nice.
Slingshot.
Okay. Slingshot. There you go. Oshie is going to town on you, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's got to go potty.
I
gotta go
Third guest.
I gotta go pee-pee, everybody.
Well, as everybody knows, we've got the Talking Lead T-shirt contest still going on. You have until September 15th to get those pictures in. So if you haven't got a shirt yet from 1776 United, go to 1776 United, get a shirt. Probably within the next couple days going to be your deadline unless you get it next day aired to you. What kind of stuff do you want to see with this picture, Left Hand?
What kind of stuff do I want to see?
Yeah, like what kind of stuff are we missing? What have we not gotten pictures of yet?
Well, we've had some very good pictures sent in, very creative. I think we need a little more sexiness. Is that a good word?
Okay, yeah, that's benign enough.
Bring your sexy back. Come on, guys.
Now, you just said,
Girls.
whoa, I was going to say you just said, come on, guys.
Girls,
But yeah, just
we need more females entered in this contest.
post a picture of you in the Talking Lead T-shirt.
Wet T-shirt would be great. Hey, a wet T-shirt doing the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge would be fantastic. Kill two birds with one stone.
There you go. And hashtag it either on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, Talking Lead T-shirt, because that's how we're going to find these contestants. And then we will do the judging, and you got your chance to win a 2 Vets Arms Bravo rifle, which we get to shoot at Circle the Wagons, which was awesome. As an awesome rifle.
We got to shoot the Bravo and the what was their higher end AR.
Yep.
The 2 Vets Arms. They were sweet, man. They shot really good.
Smooth running rifle, man.
Yeah, and then you also have an opportunity to win some 1776 hats, T-shirts. There's some ammo up for grabs.
MS Clean Kit. Miss Clean Kits.
Yeah.
And Fight Soap.
Fight soap.
You're going to get some Fight Soap.
Yeah.
We're just making it up as we go. All these guys are going, what the hell? We're not giving that crap away. So, want to thank our other sponsors too.
No.
What? Huh?
No,
What?
no, we're not at the sponsors yet.
Where are we at?
So we're going to be remiss if we don't mention this. A huge victory in California. We've been out of pocket for a while, but we want to make this announcement. If you haven't heard yet, the 10-day waiting period has been struck down by a judge and is now considered unconstitutional in California.
Nice.
We want to give the Cal Guns Foundation and the Second Amendment Foundation huge kudos on their push to make that happen. And then what?
You mean push?
What'd I say?
Puss.
I said push.
It came out puss.
Well,
So just say on their push. Push.
that too. And then another addition to our jackwagon train is Kamala Harris who is the attorney general out there that keeps trying to take away all. Well, they've got most of their gun rights taken away anyway, but she's what?
Isn't she the one that said a barrel shroud was a shoulder thingy that goes up?
She said a couple of things I think that have been pretty T-shirt worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that other guy out there. What's his name? The Ghost Gun Jack Wagon.
Oh yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah,
I'm
so
still trying to find that gun.
kudos to our Californian followers. Keep up the good work, guys.
Heck yeah. Now can I talk about the sponsors?
Go ahead.
So don't forget our bandwidth sponsor, Sonoran Desert Institute, SDI.edu, where you can go and get certified as a gunsmith. If you have GI Bill, it covers it. Also, if you have Voc Rehab, it'll cover that too. So make sure you go to SDI.edu and sign up there.
ICE Training, ICEtraining.us. Rob Pincus, our good buddy. Check out their website. They've got some great training courses coming up. They've got DVDs, books. There's some claw belts, some claw pistol sights. They've got all kinds of neat stuff on their website, so go check them out at ICEtraining.us.
Savoy Leather, that's Jeremiah Savoy at savoyleather.com. He can put pretty much anything on a leather holster, including...
And I mean anything.
Anything. I have proof.
Do it.
He can even get y'all an Orion's Kin holster made. So he can hook you up. I just showed them the Talking Lead Stay Classy.
That's awesome.
Very, very talented Jeremiah Savoy.
No.
HG Press, Holder and Green Professional Real Estate Services for all your Middle Tennessee real estate needs. Give those gun-friendly guys and girls a call. And especially if you're a veteran, they can help you obtain get in touch with the people that can help you get a VA loan in the purchase of your house. You can get in touch with them at 1-800-615-1840, extension pew, 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 pew.
2222. CanTubernerDesigns.com. Go there, and Dax can take a round shell casing and turn it into a pretty awesome pin. So if y'all go out and you get a elk, and it's the biggest elk you've ever got, take that shell casing, send it to CanTubernerDesigns.com, and he'll make a cool pin with it.
I dig it.
I'd like to thank our new buddies out in Colorado, SoCo Kydex, Custom Kydex.
Yeah, SoCo Custom Kydex.
The website is SoCoKydex.com. You can go there and see their plethora of Kydex products for knives. Plethora.
Do you know what a plethora is?
It's very many. Mucho. Mucho. They got mag carriers, can carriers, all kinds of stuff there. So check those cool guys out.
All or Nothing Tattoo Studios, allornothingtattoo.com, and their gun-friendly merchandise store, strangleholemerch.com.
We want to give a special shout-out to Martin at Iron Hammer Armory. Man, we really appreciate your hospitality, your family's hospitality. Thank you for welcoming us into your house and to the event.
Yes, sir.
It was phenomenal, brother. Thank you.
And Rockwell Tactical for putting together a good training event, too. It was fun.
Oh, yeah, man. Those guys are awesome. I can't wait to get them on the show.
Yep. Anything y'all want to plug? How do they find y'all? Social media, website, any of that stuff?
Yeah, I'll throw it out there.
Okay.
I just want to thank you guys for taking the time to have us on. Brooks and I really enjoyed being here. For those of you that want to check us out, our website is Orion's Kin. That's ORIONSKIN.com. And you can find Dr. Brooks Tiller and myself, Adam Mattis, on Instagram, Twitter, and all those other great social media outlets.
What's your Instagram? Yours is A Mattis, right?
Yeah. A Mattis 13.
A Mattis 13.
Yeah. Dr. Brooks Tiller.
Okay.
On Instagram, Twitter, all that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, so go ahead.
I was going to say, we appreciate you guys for coming out. We've enjoyed it.
Yeah, one more thing. Make sure that this coming Tuesday, we're going to be doing a Google Hangout, kind of a post-Circle the Wagons kind of get-together with some of the people that were out there. So pay attention to our social media, and we'll be posting the links on how to take part in the Google Hangout.
Yes, sir. And as always, left hand, keep your loved ones close
and your firearms closer.